Hello friends, and this week what I'd like to do is take a few moments to introduce what we're going to be emphasizing over the weekends during worship the next 6-7 weeks, and also what a number of small groups are going to be doing. And let me get at it this way. Let me ask you this. Do you believe that the coronavirus is a very serious threat that means that we ought to change a lot of the way we do things? Or do you think the danger has been vastly overblown? What do you think about the Black Lives Matter movement, or about climate change? Who are you going to vote for on November 3rd for president? Now, when I just even ask those kind of questions, you find like your blood pressure and your pulse rising. It is becoming difficult, isn't it, to have sort of matter-of-fact, reasonable conversations about matters like these without becoming really, really angry, and like this guy having a slide. Can we show the slides, by the way? I think this guy having a slide with smoke coming out of his ears here, just really, really angry like that. I've had conversations with a number of people recently who've talked about how in their own families that there are rifts because of controversy and issues like these. And knowing that these things are hot potatoes, I think what a lot of us do is we take what I call the ostrich approach. Like this guy, we just sort of stick our heads in the sand and say, I'm not going to watch any news. I'm not going to tune in on the internet to what's going on in the world. Not going to go there. If anyone asks me my view on stuff like the election and all, I'm just going to definitely change this subject with my standard. How about them Steelers? Is Big Ben back or what? And while we especially see this in relation to these kind of hot potato issues, it seems also the case, though, that a lot of people are just plain angry or annoyed generally as kind of a way of life. You see it when somebody pulls into a parking space you were about to take, or they don't return your text fast enough, or they seem to be more interested in talking about their concerns than listening to you about yours. And while none of these things are really that pleasant, I think for most of us some of the time, and for some of us a lot of the time, our level of anger or annoyance with this kind of stuff just seems way out of proportion. Well, Jesus, when he was praying for his followers in John chapter 17, he prays and he says that just as he was sent into the world, so his followers are also sent into the world. This world with all its difficulties and controversies and annoying situations and annoying people. But at the same time, he says that while we're in the world, we're not to be of the world. In other words, we're in the world and we're engaged in the issues and the problems, the concerns of the world, but we march to the beat of a different drummer as we do so. We do so with a different kind of a set of ways and values and priorities as we're doing this. And that doesn't mean that as followers of Jesus, we don't ever get annoyed or get angry. In fact, there's some things that specifically because we're Christians, we ought to be angry about. But even there, those things are sometimes different than the things the world gets angry about, and we express our anger differently as well. Again, we're in the world, but we're not of it. So how do we live this out in this cultural moment? Where controversial issues are chronically before us, and where a lot of people just seem just upset generally, kind of as a way of life. How do we relate to this culture in ways that honor God and that show respect and love for people? Well, that's really what we're going to be looking at over these next couple of months. And beginning this weekend, where we look at what the apostle says in Romans chapter 12, where the starting point is that we engage the world with a deeply being in touch with not just what the world is doing and saying and how it's looking at things, but deeply in touch with what we believe about who God is and who we are, and about what the world is like. And what I'm really praying for is that over these next couple of months, not only will we get better in touch with what we believe as Christians, but also we'll get some very practical handles for how we can relate to our unbelieving neighbors, to our Christian friends, and maybe even to our own angry souls. Well, friends, I hope that this is a blessed week for you, and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.